known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
Happy Friday, guys. October 15th. We're right here on Puck Time, WagerTalk TV. Just Carmine and I today on Puck Time, guys, breaking down the few games we have, talking about the start of the NHL season, maybe a little glimpse of tomorrow if we have any leans. But just Carmine and I today. Some interesting games yesterday, Carm. Before I throw to you, I just want to mention, I have some stats I want to mention a little bit afterwards, but the Seattle Kraken get their first win in franchise history. Exciting to see that. The LA Kings, with 6 goals last night, they defeat the Golden Knights. Crazy night last night, man. A comeback from the Tampa Bay Lightning. They end up winning their game 7-6. They were down numerous goals. Just a crazy night overall. Great to have hockey back. I know you were at doing some family stuff last night, but man, oh man, crazy night in the NHL.
Yeah, my head is still ringing, Andrew. I was out with the wife and some of her co-workers. Every once in a while, I've got to do something that she wants to do. But a Mexican restaurant owned by someone in the family, and I just had a mariachi band playing in my ear right beside me. It was just, but I kept an eye on the scores, and it's crazy. The ebbs and flows of the NHL. First night, a ton of goals. Second night, a lot of unders, and last night, it was like there are no goalies in net, just some absolutely crazy games. And I was getting messages about the Tampa game, Tampa and Detroit, a crazy final. I checked in on the scores and I saw 6-3, and then the next thing I know, later on, I check after those messages and it's 7-6. But the Kings looked good last night. And Kraken, congratulations to them on finally getting a win. So a ton of action. 3 games tonight, guys. Our format on Fridays will normally be, it's going to be a wild card day. Normally, like we did last year, where we'll bring somebody different in on Fridays. And Monday will be just Andrew and I when we do a review of the weekend and talk about the upcoming week and the Monday games. So, but with that said, Andrew, congratulations. I did get back in time to watch the end of the San Fran and LA Dodgers game, and a crazy finish in that one. But congratulations, 5% winner for you.
Thanks a lot, man. 5% plays continue to roll in the MLB. It wasn't the best, season, honestly, Carm, full transparency, but just heated up at the end of the season. And now 8 straight playoff winners in the MLB. So super excited about that. And we do have to get into some games, but I know people love when we kind of have some fun as well. I have to laugh about how you were able to just squeak in. I know for a fact your wife is not in the same room as you. When I hear you say the words, you have to do some of the things that she wants to do sometimes. I love the way you said that. No, you didn't even crack a smile when you said that. You're like, yeah, you have to do some things that, on Sunday, you know what I have to do while I'm watching football? I got to carve some pumpkins and I got to decorate my house with Halloween stuff. So you think that that's on my priority list on a Sunday afternoon? Probably not. But we have to do some things we maybe don't want to do.
She gets her jabs in. We are. It's a perfect fit. I am an extrovert. I always want to be out there with my friends, catch a game, or with family. She's more of an introvert. Puts in a ton of work, and so when her work day is done, she just wants to chill at home and relax and stuff like that. But she will throw those barbs every once in a while, and this is probably the best one because it relates to us and this show, or more importantly, me. So I'm reviewing the 2 or 3 games that I had last night, and she goes to me because I had also I had released to my clients a live in-game wager, and that hit. And her response was, "Hey, you finally won an NHL game. Congratulations!" So it's the first week of the season. We are ironing out the kinks, but those wins will come sooner rather than later. And I appreciate even getting the chirps in our live chat, because I love the guys in our live chat. They're absolutely awesome. So.
Well, I was going to say, Carm, I love hockey, but as you know, I grew up playing basketball, and sometimes you just need to see the ball go in the hoop. So the ball's got in the hoop now for you, and you can kick off your season and get rolling. Chicago and New Jersey, We're going to break down every single game on the board tonight. We're going to start with the Hawks and the Devils. Hawks are plus 110 on the money line. Jersey minus 130 here. Total sits at 6 in this one. And it's real interesting, guys, because let's be honest here. A theory that a lot of people I know, and including myself, thought would be a real strong theory, betting on teams that have already played a game versus teams that haven't played a game yet. And it hasn't really been a strong theory yet. We can look across the board at what's happened so far and look at last night's results, Carm. These teams that haven't played a game already, they're not at any disadvantage, it seemed like so far, especially when they're playing at home. Home teams are playing really well right now. Straight up, home favorites are 8-2-1. Away dogs 3-6-1-1. Against the spread, home dogs are 5-0 so far this season. Home favorites, though, a little bit struggling against the spread, but they're getting the job done on the money line. My gut reaction here, Carm, was to go ahead here with the Blackhawks. I didn't want to give up on my theory about betting on these teams that have already played, but specifically with the Blackhawks, they had a horrible start. I watched that game, and they just had a really bad start to their game. I mean, Marc-André Fleury, his first game with you as a goaltender, he's at the later part of his career, and that's what you do to him. That's the start you're going to give Marc-André Fleury, a guy that's supposed to come in and be a great tendy for you. None of those goals were his fault. It was a breakaway. It was an odd man rush. And then it was, I think, off a tip or something like that. It was not the best start for the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, don't get me wrong. The Devils have talent. They're going to throw a lot at the Blackhawks. But here's the thing, Carm. The New Jersey Devils aren't the Colorado Avalanche. And we're looking at this price that we're getting here. It's different, of course, because it's the Devils, but I think it's a generous spot here at plus 110 for a Blackhawks team that they're not going to be happy with what happened in game one for them. They have their leader, Jonathan Toews, back. That room is going to be pissed off, for lack of better words, and we're only in game two. And Mackenzie Blackwood is not playing tonight. He is still a little bit injured. He's my favorite goalie for the Devils, so we will not see him. We'll see Jonathan Bernier, a guy that played for the Detroit Red Wings, who was used to getting plenty of shots against him. I'm looking at the Blackhawks here at the underdog position, lean towards the over 6 for me, but I think the Blackhawks are going to bounce back here big.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you. You know, this is obviously these are two teams that are going to be better this season. They have to be better than this season. But the thing that makes it tough to preview these games, Andrew, in the first week or week and a half of this season is situations like this. We expect them to be better. We don't know how long it's going to take for these teams and the new pieces to gel together. Now, this is a home opener for New Jersey. They were a tough team last year at home. They were a very tough out. I think Boston went in there at the beginning of the season and lost a couple games, or there were low-scoring games, which also surprises me to why the total is 6 minus 125 or so to the over right now. I'm seeing Bernier is still a good goalie for them. And like you said about Chicago, you know, that 4-2 loss, they were shell shocked. 3 goals in the first 9 to 10 minutes of that game. You know, they're going to be better. They kept Colorado. If you look at the bright side of that, they kept Colorado to 1 goal over the last 50 minutes of that game. So this is one of those things where you want to bet the game because you figure these teams are going to be better, but you have to see how they're playing because while you wait for them to gel, your money, you don't want to put your money on ice as well too. You know, if I was getting more money plus money with Chicago, I would probably make a play on Chicago. But New Jersey as a small price favorite here, minus 130 is probably how I would look to go. If I was getting Chicago, let's say plus 130, plus 140, then I think you look at the value in that price and long term a variance, and you factor in sort of variance. You're going to make money taking good sides at plus money. But in a home opener, we saw it yesterday as well too. Andrew, I hate to mention the whole Montreal Buffalo thing, but Buffalo's a train wreck this year, and yet they look like a Stanley Cup contender for 60 minutes. With that said, I'm going to stay away from the total. I would lean to the under if I had to lean to anything. So we're kind of on opposite sides here, Andrew. It's just because I saw how New Jersey was last year defensively at the start of the season. I thought they were very good, and these teams are improved. You now have Fleury in net for Chicago. So I'm still going to go with New Jersey here. It is a tough out, home opener, and I'm only laying $1.30. So give me the Devils.
The mitts are off, and we're only one game through. Carmine and I are going head to head. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot this year here on the show, and I get it. It still is a pretty decent price for them. I guess I'm just really buying into Chicago bouncing back quite a bit here. I want to really, harp on maybe some of these shows where it's just you and I, Carm, or on the shows where it's just a couple games. Continue to bring up all of these stats. I'm going to start to follow them a lot more this year about the home teams, the road dogs, all that good stuff. And to your point, these teams that start their seasons at home, they have an advantage. It's a clear scheduling spot. I know a lot of people that handicap the NFL. All of us look towards a season-long schedule and plan and try and pick out which spots are going to be good, bad for certain teams. And you don't like to lay juice on the road by any means. And like I said, these away favorites are 1-4 past couple of days. So it's not really been pretty. So we'll see what happens. We'll see the power. I think New Jersey actually has a pretty good fan base at home. So we'll see how that can be a factor. But we also have a Blackhawks team looking for some revenge here. Carm, we have a college football coupon code for you, CB15. You've been rolling around along with college football. Hopefully you'll start sending me some of those picks if you can. But hey, spread the love when you can. But let us know about that, how you've been doing with college football, because I've been seeing your stuff up at WagerTalk.com. You and I have never really talked college football too much, but I've been seeing you've been hitting some winners.
Yeah, last week was especially good in football on the weekend, 9-3 overall, and doing well in the well, not at the top, but well in the Circa contest, the Circa Millions football contest in Vegas. I am wearing the Circa top today. I don't think you can really see it, but I am wearing the Circa top here. But 5% play up for Saturday in college football. I'm going to take $15 off of that with coupon code CB15. So if you head over to WagerTalk.com and on my Cappers page, you'll find it there. Enter that code at checkout, and you'll get that play for only $20 as opposed to $35. And let's hit another winner. A huge slate of games this weekend across college football and NFL. And some doozies in NHL. So let's get those going. All right, Philadelphia, Vancouver, Andrew.
Yeah, Philadelphia, Vancouver plus 130 dog here. Philly minus 150 on the money line at home. Puck line is minus 1.5 at plus 150. Total sits at 6 in this game. And Carmen, it sounds like you agreed with me. I think Prez agreed with me about Vancouver having a pretty good season, or at least in their division. We saw right away Quinn Hughes get involved. We saw some great goals. We saw Connor Garland, the guy I mentioned, make a pretty immediate impact. And they had a pretty entertaining game out the gate in game one against the Edmonton Oilers. As we all know, Edmonton, a really talented division as far as here in Canada, a very talented team. Philadelphia, what are your thoughts on them? Do they deserve this minus 150 mark?
It's too high for me. It's definitely too high for me. This is what I was talking about in the first game with the Chicago. If you give me this type of line, I am going to look towards the dog. If you watch that Vancouver Edmonton game and maybe south of the border, you guys didn't catch that because it's not on ESPN or on Fox or whatever. But up here, our sports networks, there's 5 different sport net ones, and they'll show you the East games, the West games. So we catch them all. I watched the Vancouver Edmonton one, and Vancouver looked good. They lost the game. Obviously, it went to OT and a shootout, but they look good. Kyle Burrows looked good. Myers looked good. Pullman looked good. And, like you said about Hughes, and they had some toughness to them, which is you're going to need some toughness. And especially in the West, if you are a team that plays like the East teams that are physical, and you can play it against those West teams who are, I hate to always use the word soft, but a little soft, it's going to help you win games. As the season goes on and the grind is there, it's going to help you win games. Brock Bosner didn't play that game. He's with the team. He's going to play sometime on this road trip. He was their leading scorer last year. I mentioned it last time on the show. But who knows if he'll be in the lineup tonight? I don't think he will. But if he is, that just bodes well for the scoring of this Vancouver team. I like the live dog here, Andrew. Give me the plus money, Vancouver.
I'm right there with you. I think it's a good opportunity. I said I like Vancouver on the season. We're going to have some great bet on spots for them. But last game, I decided to just stick with the total because I thought Edmonton's a super talented team. And Philadelphia is too. But Carm, I got to ask you, I mean, Claude Giroux, Sean Couturier, and Travis Konechny, after that, it kind of falls off a little bit. You know, Cam Atkinson's down there in the second line. He's good. Derek Brassard, good two-way player. No more Jakub Voracek. I don't know. I think this Philadelphia team, they were a big over team last year. I'm curious to see where their goal production comes from. It seems to me like you shut down one line, you might shut down the team.
Yeah, I think that you pretty much have it covered there. This is something that could happen with this team is if you shut down that first line. They kept the Oilers and that high scoring team to 3 goals. Obviously, they shoot a goal, so 2 goals. They can do it here. It's if they can replicate the energy that they have. They were fast. There was speed to that Vancouver team in that first game. And speed in the NHL is a good thing, especially if you have a team that's fast, a team that's a little physical, and a team that plays on emotion. I was at that Toronto-Montreal game again on opening night. That game was devoid of any emotion in that game. And these were 2 teams that played in that first round of the playoffs, in that heated first round of the playoffs. There was no emotion in that first game. It was horrible. That game had emotion. Let's see what the Flyers do. They have such a good goalie in Carter Hart, but they're wasting the talent if you don't put anything in front of them that can score goals. He's going to keep teams, or in the past at least, you keep teams to 2, maybe 3 goals. You should be able to, in the NHL, have a team that can score 3 goals, 4 goals. You don't have to do it every single night, but you need scoring. Last year, going into last season, Carter Hart had a great record at home, not so great on the road. Last year, it sort of leveled out. So, but that speaks volumes to the team in front of them more than anything else. So he didn't get much support. We'll have to see how the Flyers are the first week to 2 weeks of the season. But I think it's going to be a long season for the Flyers. I don't think they're going to struggle, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. That's my bold statement.
Yeah, well, they were quite sloppy last year. And, I'm a big proponent. I think that sometimes you look at a team all around and what they did, and it makes the goaltender look bad. Everybody was making fun of Carter Hart, or should I say Carter Hart, and saying that he wasn't very good last year. You know what? He was. It's just that the rebound control wasn't there maybe, but it was bad defense, sloppy defense, not good back checking. And all of a sudden he gets the blame, Carm. So, one thing for tonight, lots of, home openers, right? Lots of home openers. So far, I'm against one home opener, and looks like I'm against the other one. You're on a 1-1 split here. I'm scared to go against them, but I'll tell you one thing. I refuse to lay too much juice going against a home opener. And so far, I'm looking at 2 dogs on the road. So even if I get a split, we'll be in the green and find some profit. I want to remind everybody out there that every single play in hockey for every NHL handicapper is just $9 up at WagerTalk.com. You can get every single release, no matter what rating the play is. I've released packages with plays. I'm going to have props today. I had a few yesterday. All just $9 over at WagerTalk. That's good until Monday at midnight over at WagerTalk.com. Let's jump into our last game here. Minnesota Wild, the Anaheim Ducks. A little bit of a different layout here. We have a Anaheim team making their first. Actually, no, not different, because Anaheim is making their first their home opener. In Minnesota, they're on the road. So we actually have 2 teams that haven't played yet. Sorry, I'm fumbling around here, but Anaheim's opening up their season at home. Minnesota hasn't played yet. They're minus 170 now. Anaheim is plus 145. Minnesota on the puck line, -1.5 is +155. Total sits at 5.5. Their home opener for Anaheim is what I was trying to say, Carm, but they have played a game. I look at this Anaheim team, and I just strictly think that their goaltenders make them look good. It's as simple as that. They had some offense. They had some guys perform, but let's look at that last game against the Jets, man. It was the same thing. You get frustrated as a player. I don't care if it's the first game of the season or the 82nd game of the season. When you've got John Gibson back there, the Winnipeg Jets look frustrated, and they look frustrated early on. Minnesota has a lot of young players and guys that are going to pepper shots towards the goaltender, but I can't justify this price they're laying on the first game of the season.
Yeah, well, it's crazy, Andrew. I get it, but this is a product of these two teams and how they played last year and how they likely will play this year. Again, it's the first couple of weeks of the season, so I hate to use that as an excuse, but you have to look at the first two, work out the kinks of your game. Preseason doesn't always do it because there's so many players that are playing in those games. The guys aren't getting regular minutes, but you look at these two teams, and it's like you said, Anaheim last season is a team that relied on their goaltending. They couldn't score goals. I think we talked about the fact that if you took the team total of Anaheim under 2.5 goals each and every game, you're probably going to make money. They weren't a team that scored a ton of goals last year, relied on Gibson. The Wild need to build on last season. They had a fantastic season last year. Obviously, it ended in that playoff loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, but this is a team with a ton of upside to them. So this is probably why they're this price. You look at the games last year. Anaheim won the opener at home last year against Minnesota. The season series opener between these two, 1-0, and then lost the next 7 games. Minnesota winning that series 7-1. The under was 5-1 in the first 6 games of the series before the final 2 games that they played in Minnesota ended in 4-3 overtime wins for Minnesota. So a couple overs there, but still the under was still 5-3. Much more talented team. I just don't see how the Ducks, when they play teams who can score, teams like Minnesota, the Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado, even Edmonton, Vancouver, those are the games where they're really going to struggle. If you sort of took the approach of playing a sort of, I'll call them box bets throughout the season, Andrew, where you say, I am going to bet against Anaheim every time they play Minnesota on the, let's say the regulation line, and against every other team. I will almost wager you, or I would wager you that you will end up plus units in every single series that Anaheim plays against Minnesota, Edmonton, Colorado, Las Vegas. The 3 or 4 teams that can score, they're going to lose the bulk of those series. 7-3, not the score lines, but if they're 10-game series, 7-3, 8-2, 9-1. They're not going to be a good team this year. I just don't see them. They're going to be one of the bottom 3 teams overall in the Western Conference, and they're going to open up at home with a loss to Minnesota.
Carmine says it with confidence. Guys, I just have to correct myself. That was a complete blunder for me in the opening there, and I just have to correct myself. Anaheim has played a game. They have played a game at home. Minnesota's on the road, and they have not played a game. I got it out, Carm. I'm sorry. I had to get it out. I got this big mason jar of coffee, iced coffee. It's only half empty. So clearly I need to have some more of that. But yeah, this is a team that I'm in the same ballpark as you, but we both kind of have to give some credit to what happened, right? At 4-1, we have to give some credit to Anaheim getting their victory, right? We have to kind of acknowledge it. And they covered it. They were plus money, they made some money for their backers. That's for sure.
I get it, but they're plus money for a reason in that game, because people expected Winnipeg to win, kind of like we expect Minnesota to win. There have been worse teams, and I hate to call them a really bad team, but there's been worse teams that have won 2 or 3 games out of the hop to start a season. The Sabres, what was that final score? Was it 5-1 or 6-1? I don't even remember against Montreal last night. No, I seriously don't remember the score. Maybe it's my age, but
5-1.
Let's not look at this. Let's not look at that score and think the Sabres are a good team. They are not. They are going to finish bottom of the NHL this season. You will make money playing against the Sabres all year, whether it's the puck line or the regulation line. The problem is you're still going to have to pay juice on those regulation lines, because every team, when the Sabres hit the road, is going to be about minus 280 in that game, unless they're a bad team as well too, which means the regulation line is going to be about $1.70. So they're going to price it where even though they should lose, if they win, it's going to hurt your bankroll. It makes it tough. So it's where the puck lines come in, and you're not going to find many puck lines with plus money against the Sabres. Teams are going to be minus 1.5, minus 120 all year long. This is not a good team. When your total points forecast is 67.5 points, that is bad. That is very bad. So definitely. With that said, Anaheim isn't in that group, but look at Anaheim's points last year. Not very well. I know it's 56 games, but they struggled last year. They're going to struggle this year. Whether it happens in the first week or happens 2 weeks from now, they are a team that's going to lose on the bounce 3, 4, or 5 games in a row. And this is where sometimes you pound against the bad teams and you build your bankroll that way.
And I think it's a great point you mentioned, whether it's here or whether it's there, because in the season so far, a lot of people would say, do you want to look at dogs out the gate or favorites out the gate? Favorites, a lot of big favorites have gotten crushed. Look at even the Golden Knights last night and Tampa Bay almost losing as massive favorites. Canadians, closed around minus 150. I actually think, and this is obviously just hindsight 2020 looking at it now, that it's law of averages, right? I'm not a huge mathematician. I'm not a huge math guy, Carm. I know I don't look like one, but when you look at these teams, like you said, no matter what happened, Anaheim wins that first game 4-1. The next time they play the Jets, it can be a complete reversal, and it wouldn't shock anybody. And they could play them again the next time, and it could be 4-1 for Winnipeg again. So it just so happened that this was the game, and I think a lot of people, that we use the word overreact so much in handicapping, but it's so true. Realistically, it's just one game. All of this stuff is just one game. It doesn't matter to them really where it happens in the schedule. It's just one game.
Yeah, each game is independent of itself. It's the way the games are played. There's 60 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes longer, but every game is independent of itself. No stat holds truer to that than you look at last season. I think the Boston Bruins, on 2 different occasions, were run out of the building. They lost over a course of maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks. They lost a game, I think it was 7-0 or 8-0 to Washington and New York, and then win the very next night, against the same team, 1-0 or 2-0. So the games are independent of each other. If you can look at stats, and they should be a part of your game and the analytics. The most important thing you can do as a bettor is review your games from the night before. Think of what your opinion was and look at the box scores and chart those box scores. Look at the numbers. Sometimes teams were a little unlucky, unfortunately. We talked about the New York Rangers in game 1. Their analytics, and Brian talked about it, their analytics, the final numbers were 2.63 to 183 for the Rangers, which meant the Rangers, analytics-wise, should have won that game 3-2. They lost 5-1 or 6-1. The final numbers sometimes speak volumes. So when you find a team underperforming to their final game analytics, that's where those numbers come in. Chart that, because if they continue to underperform scoring on the ice, but their numbers show that they had a lot of high danger chances and they should have scored, eventually those pucks go into the net. And this is when you can start playing these teams and you get a bit of plus money and you start to reap the rewards of them finally finding the net. Good teams will do that. Bad teams, not so much. Find a good team that is struggling but has high danger chance percentage that is very high. Eventually, those arcs will cross, and that is when you start to make your money.
Great stuff, Carm. Make sure you guys check out Carmine's college football play. Use that coupon code CB15 at checkout with Carmine, wt.buzz/CB, red hot in college football action. I wanted to mention shots on goal props. I'm committed to props this year in the NHL throughout the entire season. Last year, it was mainly just in the playoffs for me, but I want to look at 2 props for today. One of them I'm going to save for my best bet, but another one is Kevin Fiala over 2.5 shots on goal. That's minus 140 for the Minnesota Wild, third liner for them. And, people have their question marks about the depth of the Minnesota Wild. I think they do have some depth. I think they actually have 3 lines that can score and produce. And Kevin Fiala is a shooter. Just signed a 1-year deal. He gets the puck anywhere close to the net, Carm, he's going to fire it. I don't like to lay huge juice with these shots on goal props. But sometimes if it's the right spot, I will do so. And the key for me for success has just been not been playing too many of them in one night. If I'm going to lay juice, not going to play too many. And real quick, I want to channel my inner Gianni the Greek, because everybody wants to give out their lessons and tips. Mine is going to be just really quick about the regulation lines and the 3-way. You're going to see myself, Carmine, Prez, all kinds of cappers releasing the 3-way money line regulation. If you're watching this video, listening on podcast form, chances are you already know what regulation wagers are. If you don't, it means you're betting and getting better odds for your team to have to win within the first 60 minutes of the game. Overtime is not included. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because I believe that a lot of people out the gate, they're getting burnt betting these favorites, but you're betting, and the VIG is horrible right now. You're just laying too much juice. So you could have a 50% record right now, but you're still getting slaughtered unit-wise based on these prices you're laying. And yesterday is a perfect example. The Florida Panthers, Carm. Yesterday, they were big favorites, decent-sized favorites. Regulation wager for them was, what was it, plus 120 or minus 120? This is a spot where you lost last night if you took Florida in regulation. Long-term, that's a good bet. And that's a phrase that Johnny uses quite a bit. That is a good bet. You lost that bet last night, but if you're laying minus 170 on a team that went, head-to-head, back and forth all night with their opponent, long-term, that's going to lose you 1.7 units every time that play loses, versus you take that regulation, you get down to a minus 120, and all of a sudden you're praying for this team to win within 60 minutes. And if you lose, you're only losing 1.2 units, So I just want to let everyone know, protect your bankroll, protect your units, be aware of the puck lines, be aware of the regulation, be aware of team totals. Don't get caught up, especially early in the season, laying these big prices and laying these big numbers. But that's my lesson for today. I don't want people to get caught up laying these big prices and having a 50% record on the season so far, Carm, and being down big in units.
Yeah, I have to echo the thought, only because for the last 5 years, where I've really focused on the regulation time bets, I chart the opening or like the closing numbers, obviously for the money lines, but for the full game and regulation time bets. And I'm only charting the ones that I am playing and not the ones in general. But each of the 5 years, betting the regulation line has been more profitable at the end of the year for me than has been the full game line. Some of those regulation time bets have lost, but the games that lost in OT more than killed any of the profit on those games. So if you're playing in general, any team that's minus 175 or more over the last 5 years, you would have lost money taking those teams as opposed to taking the regulation time, at least on the I'm talking about the games in which I played. So I'll continue to chart it this year as well too, and do the exact same thing. I just don't advocate playing big favorites. I know a lot of guys are like, let's just take them. But if you look at a game like yesterday, some of the games like yesterday, you talk about the Florida Panthers one, but you look at some of the games, where teams are laying like, I'm not even sure what the Toronto game was yesterday. It must have been about minus 200, and they lose that game. Being a big favorite in the NHL does not equate winning the game. It's just 82 game schedule. There's going to be a lot of minus 200s, minus 300s that go down the tubes, and those will burn your bankroll. You lose a minus 300, you've got to win 3 bets just to be even. Think about that. You have to hit 75% to be even. It is absolutely crazy losing a minus 300 in NHL.
Definitely. Let's jump into best bets, Carm. Let's wrap it up. Carmine and I, we have our Puck Time WT Twitter account. We may be going live a little bit tomorrow, talking about tomorrow's games. We'll see if Carmine and I's schedules line up a little bit, but give out some picks, give out some promos, and talk some hockey. It'll be our first Saturday of the season. And as you guys know, Saturdays are always jam-packed and really big cards. And Friday, kind of a travel day, a lot less games and stuff like that. But check us out at Pucktime WT. We're pretty active on there, tweeting out some picks and promotions. But Carm, I'll go to you, man. 3 games tonight. We're going to focus on Friday's games, side, total, props. What do you have for your best bet?
All right, a couple things. You guys saw the WagerTalk Twitter account that was up on the screen. Check it out later today. If you're not following it, make sure you do follow it, and then follow myself and Andrew on Twitter as well too. I am going to put a contest up for a Puck Time jersey, or a sweater, I should say a t-shirt, for all these Saturday games. So head over to the Puck Time WT Twitter account. It'll be up later this afternoon, and I will close the contest just before the first game goes off on Saturday. So take advantage of that free contest to win a shirt. Philadelphia, Vancouver. We talked about this game earlier. I liked the way Vancouver played in that first game. Last night, we did hit a nice free play for you guys on the LA Kings, plus 141 against Vegas. I'm going to throw out another plus money one. I'm going to take Vancouver as my show best bet, plus 137. Let's see if they can go in and beat the big bad Flyers. I know if Matt Joseph is watching this, he is not happy about it. He'll probably reference it on Twitter later, but I'm going to take Vancouver plus 137 tonight to get the points. And remember, I have a 5% play tomorrow in college football, $15 off of that using coupon code CB15. I've only had one other college football 5% play this year. It was an easy winner, so let's see if we can make it 2-0. Andrew?
Grab Carmine's 5% play, guys, in college football, CB15. And Carm, I'm happy you gave out a plus price best bet today, because I'm being a little chalky here. I'm going with a shots on goal prop. A lot of times these are 2.5, the numbers we're going to get. Trevor Zegras tonight, an up-and-coming superstar in this league for the Anaheim Ducks. His is only 1.5. I'm taking him over 1.5 shots on goal. It's minus 150. But this is a game I expect to be a lot faster pace, a lot more shots from both teams. Anaheim already has a game under their belt, even though I looked like I was confused about that earlier on in the show. They have played a game. He looked confident out there. This will be his first full season in the NHL. Trevor Zegras will get involved. Whether they win or lose, he'll have lots of shots tonight. Zegras over 1.5 shots on goal, minus 150. A reminder, guys, every single NHL play up at WagerTalk, only $9 until Tuesday. Quick recap, Carmine with some sweet plus money there, Vancouver plus 137. And I'm hoping for at least 2 shots from Trevor Zegras on the Anaheim Ducks, over 1.5 shots on goal, minus 150. Thank you guys so much for watching us here. A little more of a laid-back show, just 3 games, talking some betting theory, catching up on our thoughts on the games so far. I want to wish Carmine best of luck on his big play tomorrow in college football. We'll see you guys on Monday right here on WagerTalk TV.
Wow, what an October of sports with the NHL now underway and the NBA tipping off next Tuesday. We want to help you celebrate the opening week, both on the ice and the hardwood. Every NHL daily package is only $9 through Monday, October 18th. And yes, that includes 5% NHL plays, regularly priced at $35. For you NBA fans, we'll be offering the same incredible deal next week when basketball returns. From opening night through Monday, October 25th, get every NBA package for only $9, including all 5% top plays. Plus, don't forget that WagerTalk TV will again be airing both Puck Time and the NBA Tip-Off Show every Monday through Friday.